What if I told you that one of the most beloved superheroes of all time almost never made it to print? That the idea of a teenage hero with spider powers was so strange, its own publisher thought it would fail. Before he swung across movie screens and comic pages, Spider-Man began as a bold experiment, one that no publisher believed would work. But behind that risk was a comic book writer with something to prove, and a hero who would change comics forever. The birth of an unlikely hero. In the early 1960s, comic books were changing. Stan Lee, who had already co-created the Fantastic Four and the Incredible Hulk for Marvel, wanted to try something completely new. But he faced a problem. Many people thought that superheroes were supposed to be perfect, fearless, handsome, and invincible. He wanted a hero who made mistakes, worried about rent, and got rejected by girls. Someone ordinary and someone real. Then came the spark. As Stan Lee once told it, he saw a fly crawling on a wall and thought, what if there was a superhero who could stick to walls like that? He pictured a teenager who gained powers from a radioactive spider, but still had to deal with everyday problems. To Lee, Peter Parker was the kind of hero readers actually could relate to. Not a billionaire or an alien, but a kid next door. But when he brought the idea to his boss, the reaction wasn't what he expected. That's the worst idea ever. Stan Lee pitched Spider-Man to his publisher, Martin Goodman, and it didn't go well. Goodman told him, "People hate spiders. You can't call a hero Spider-Man." He also said readers didn't want to see teenagers as heroes, only as sidekicks. To make matters worse, Spider-Man didn't fit into any of Marvel's current titles. It wasn't a patriotic hero like Captain America or a monster like the Hulk. It was something completely new, and that made everybody nervous. But Stan Lee didn't give up. He waited until Marvel's Amazing Fantasy comic was about to be canceled, and then decided to sneak Spider-Man into the final issue. After all, if the book was ending anyway, what did he have to lose? And what happened next would change comic book history forever. The web that caught the world. In August 1962, Amazing Fantasy number 15 hit shelves, featuring the first appearance of Spider-Man. The story was short, only 11 pages long. Readers met Peter Parker, a shy, nerdy teenager from Queens who is bitten by a radioactive spider and suddenly gains incredible powers. He uses his powers to show off, until his arrogance costs him deeply. When a criminal he ignored earlier kills his Uncle Ben, Peter learns the lesson that would define his entire life. With great power comes great responsibility. The issue became an instant hit. Sales skyrocketed and fans demanded more. The character, who almost didn't get published, was now the face of Marvel's next big era. By early 1963, The Amazing Spider-Man got its own series, and Peter Parker officially joined the Marvel Universe. But while Stan Lee wrote the story, there was another man who helped shape Spider-Man's look, style, and soul. The artist behind the mask. Stan Lee needed an artist who could bring this new kind of hero to life. At first, he wanted Jack Kirby, Marvel's legendary artist, to design Spider-Man. But Kirby's version looked too muscular and heroic, not the awkward teen Lee imagined. So Stan turned to Steve Ditko, a quieter, moodier artist with a knack for atmosphere and emotion. Ditko's version was perfect, slim, expressive, and mysterious. He gave Spider-Man his iconic red and blue costume, web pattern, and those striking white eyes that hid all emotion. Ditko also designed the world around him, from the city skylines to Peter Parker's homemade web shooters. He made New York feel alive. And together, Lee and Ditko turned Spider-Man into something comics had never seen before, a superhero who felt human. But as the stories grew more personal and complex, tensions also began to rise behind the scenes. Fame, friction, and the future. By the mid-1960s, The Amazing Spider-Man was Marvel's top-selling title. Fans loved how Peter Parker struggled to balance his secret life with school, work, and relationships. He wasn't just fighting villains, he was fighting anxiety, guilt, and responsibility. But behind the success, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko began clashing. Ditko wanted more creative control and disliked Marvel's growing focus on Lee's public image as the face of the company. By 1966, Ditko left Marvel, walking away from the very hero he helped bring to life. Still, Spider-Man kept swinging. Under new artists and writers, his universe expanded with characters like Mary Jane Watson, Gwen Stacy, and villains like Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, and Venom. The world of Spider-Man kept growing, from comics to TV, movies, and video games, until he became one of the most recognized heroes on Earth. And through it all, Stan Lee's vision remained at the heart of it. The legacy of the web-slinger. Today, Spider-Man is more than just a comic book character. He's a symbol of what makes superheroes relatable. He showed that anyone, no matter how ordinary, could rise to greatness. From Tobey Maguire's emotional 2000s trilogy to Tom Holland's modern MCU adventures, Spider-Man has continued to capture the imaginations of fans around the world. The web-slinger has appeared in comics, cartoons, blockbusters, and even on Broadway. And it all began with one man's crazy idea, an idea that everyone told him would fail. Stan Lee once said, "If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it." Those words perfectly sum up the legacy of Spider-Man and the man who gave him life. Thanks for watching. Who's your favorite version of Spider-Man? Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into animation, comic book, and video game history. See you in the next video!